If you're here just to get an idea of what building a quick website could look like, great. But if you're here to get a full tutorial, including how to build a website, personalize it, creating multiple web pages that all sync together, including the creation of a subscription list of up to 10,000 free subscribers that you can have join on your website and your mailing list, and get your website connected to your own domain name, then this tutorial is for you. Setup, there are a few places we're going to go. Google AI Studio is going to be the main tool that we'll be using that will do the heavy lifting. We will also go to Dribbble.com for some design inspiration. GitHub is where all of our code will be stored. Netlify will help us connect directly with our domain host that I used. If you're not really interested in using your own URL at this point, that's also fine. The method we'll be using will give us our own URL that has a prefix attached to it, but will still be something you can use. Let's get set up. The primary tool is Google AI Studio. This is what we will use to actually vibe code our website. This is AI assisting us with full content creation and design for the website. We will have a couple of tools we'll be using in conjunction with this website. One of those is Netlify. Go ahead and get signed up. This will help us connect our web domain URL to the website. You will also want to sign up with GitHub. GitHub will store all of the code we'll be creating, and go to Dribbble.com just to give you some inspiration for design work for your website. This is if you want to see different types of designs in advance and feed that to Google AI Studio as a template that you want it to follow. Google AI Studio is really good at creating its own mockups, so you don't necessarily need to use this. It's just something I decided I wanted to use first. I could have just started by saying, build me a really cool front-end website about, and this would have been enough to get a mockup. And maybe I could have said, make it modern, sleek, intuitive, and responsive. This would have created probably a one-page website that's pretty cool looking. But I wanted to go a step further. So the way that I started is I gave it the idea I was thinking of, and I gave it the context of who I am, what I'm doing, what my goals are for the website. And then I said, challenge me, ask me questions. Anything that you don't know, let's talk about it. After about 3 or 4 back and forths of it trying to clarify what I was looking for, it ended up giving me a prompt that I could then copy and paste into Google AI Studio. It also decided the exact code structure to give to Google AI Studio. I didn't want all of that. It was attempting to write everything in a single file that would be very responsive and great for a quick tutorial, but I wanted something that was more modular. And I'll explain more about that later. This is the prompt that I ended up with. I'm going to go ahead and copy this over to Google AI Studio. The first thing is giving it a persona. I'm telling it to act as a world-class UI UX designer and front-end developer. I want it to build a stunning multi-page personal brand website for Adam Builds, a YouTube channel focused on AI and vibe coding. The goal? Create a high-impact, responsive website with a premium modern aesthetic. I'm giving you creative license to make design decisions that will impress a tech-savvy audience. Now, here's the thing. I know that Google AI Studio was given parameters by other developers as to how it should create a modern, responsive website that's going to look really cool. I could tell it to create a clunky website, and I already know it's going to override what I'm saying because the people who built this thing built it for mockups. I want to give it the liberty to make those decisions. As for the vibe and aesthetic, I want it to reference these photos. So I'm going to actually attach photos to this screenshot. And this is a design I got from Dribbble.com. I really like this look and feel, the color scheme. I'm not a fan of the search button at the top. I want to turn that into a subscribe button. So I'm uploading this second photo, which does have a subscribe button in it. It says use the image to define the color palette and mood. Site should feel cohesive with these hues, dark mode, aesthetic preferred. That's from the first photo. Photo B, it's going to have a subscribe button. So let's include that in there as well. The typography would be a modern, clean front stack. And then the site structure is multi-page. I didn't go for a single page, but I want people to actually be able to click things and have a separate page because there's going to be a lot of content eventually. It is defining some kind of structure for the pages. Each of these HTML files is going to represent a different page. Technical constraints. It's saying to use HTML5 and Tailwind CSS. I am actually going to take that out and allow it to do its own thing. What I have experienced is that AI is actually better at creating a single file of code, and you might have 5,000 lines of code. And then when you need to make a change, it will recreate that entire file and do a better job. However, if you're making small changes to a file that contains 5,000 plus lines of code, it's going to take several minutes for it to update. I'd rather that the code be modular, meaning separate files for different pages within the website. And by doing that, when I have one small change, it's going to go update just the code in that file. And that's going to save you time. If you start out just with a single page, no problem. Later down the line, you can refactor that code and tell it, hey, I want you to refactor all of this code and make my code more modular so that I can more easily make updates and changes later on. Last thing is, it's using Gemini 3 Flash Preview as the default. I recommend changing that by clicking the model. Let's click the drop down up at the top right. Go to Gemini 3 Pro Preview. This is going to allow Gemini to think longer before it produces your website. Let's go ahead and start our build. As this is building the website, I want to show you something on the screen that's going on. Google is connected to all kinds of tooling. You can easily get all kinds of AI tools connected to your website using Gemini, using Nano Banana, or other tools. This is giving recommendations as to what you might want to use. Add a search function to AI News. Improve the user experience on AI News page by adding a search bar. This will allow visitors to quickly find specific articles or topics related to AI. I could add that to the chat while this is currently writing code. Create a featured tool spotlight. Highlight a specific AI tool on the AI tools page with a dedicated spotlight section. Implement interactive animations. Enhance your user engagement by adding subtle animations on scroll or hover effects for elements like buttons, cards, or images. This will add dynamic and premium feel to the website. Let's add that as well. This is what we've got to start. Now, I added 2 different screenshots that had different color schemes. The first one had a pink and purple feel. The second one, which had the subscribe button, had a orange button at the top right. So we're going to have to fix that. But hey, look at this. As a first slice, this is pretty good. Let's go ahead and scroll down and see what we've got. Exploring the intersection of artificial intelligence, creativity, and flow state. Join thousands of developers mastering the art of vibe coding. Disclosure. I am not a trained software developer, so I am definitely going to be removing joining thousands of developers mastering the art of vibe coding. This is a journey that we're going on together, so you're learning with me. What is vibe coding? Okay, we'll probably get rid of that and make it say something different. Stay in the loop. I like this. We do need to change some of our colors here. Let's go ahead and save off some of these prompts. I'm going to put them into Gemini. I'm just going to say, save these for me, or I will come back to these prompts. Let's go back. Let's take a look at the tools and see what we've got. This looks amazing. I love how we specifically told it to categorize tools. So we've got coding, writing, image generation, video, productivity, and we will definitely use these. New section. That's pretty cool. I love this new section. An image. It's just very clean, very simple. Love it. Glossary. Honestly, this is going to be used for me, but I also hope it's useful for you. When I'm learning something new and I don't understand it, I'm going to put it on this page. And when I need to reference something or provide a definition around what something is or how it works, I can come to this page and quickly see what is this term? What does it mean? And how does it apply to what I'm doing right now? The about page. That's obviously not me, and there's a little guy on a bicycle there. We will improve that. Backstory, the mission, the community. Okay, cool. I'm liking it all. What I'm going to do is show you guys how to annotate. You don't need to do this. You literally could just type what you want here, but it can be helpful. What you're going to do is click the little annotate button down here. It's going to pull up a toolbar. Go ahead and click add rectangle. We'll keep the color red. And I'm going to put a rectangle around the subscribe button and add it to the chat. Then I'm going to say, let's update the color of this button and anything with this same orange color on the website, and ensure it instead uses the pink color that is shown on the rest of the website. Also, I don't see a home button. Include that to the left of the tools link. Let's hit send. Going back up, as we're waiting on this second prompt to be reviewed and for the code changes to take place, you can see that this first prompt ran for 110 seconds. If you really want to see what it was doing, you can go ahead and click that button and you can see it's defining the objectives, defining the front end, structuring the architecture, refining the color scheme, detailing the components, constructing the components, and then as you can see, it's building all the code files. You can even see the code if you want to by clicking the code. Right now, it's actually writing more code. It's going into my index file, and based on my prompt, it's editing the code, revising it, and updating it. The code is modular. All of our pages are broken out into their own files. We now have a home page that it's updating as well. Just wanted to show you that you can update the code. You can go in here and quickly update text. Like if I didn't want this to say join free, I wanted to say join now, I could update that and see that in the preview right away. So this is already looking amazing, you guys. I'm loving the vibe. We can see as well, if I go to the other pages, that they are also updated in that same pink color. All right, I've turned on dark mode. Should have done that before, but it's on now. Let's keep going. I spent a little bit of time looking through the website, and I want to make some changes. So first, I provided some context. I said, I am not a software developer. I'm a layperson using AI to code. My YouTube channel is not just about coding, though. I feature several AI tools and workflow automations that are practical, can be used personally or professionally, and I want this to be a place people can come to explore tools, news, and subscribe to featured emails. Look through the website and update any text that needs to be updated to match the context I have given. Also, change the subscribe button. You can see up here, we've got this weird looking square. I want that to look like a piece of mail. Change the color that is currently pink on every page to be a bit more of a purple color with hues of light bluish teal. When I upload my logo, this will make more sense, but I'm going for more of a purple blue vibe on the website. While I like what it's done so far, I want to make it even better to match the color scheme that I'm looking for. I'm also going to attach a photo of myself, and I'm going to replace this photo here. So I'm telling it to do that. And I'm going to upload my logo and put it on the top left. And while I'm at it, I'm going to ask it to include it as a favicon once the website is published. This will push the icon to the top here in the tab where you see icons for other websites that show their own logo. Mine would show my logo. Let's also have that link embed a photo when it's being sent to somebody. We're also going to get rid of a few of these icons down here, and I'm going to stick with just the YouTube play icon, and it will create a new icon that'll be like a little mail icon, so they could click that as well, which they can email me. Going over to the About page, I'm going to replace much of the backstory, mission, and community here with text that makes sense. And actually did include a bunch of context from my YouTube page that it can include in this About page section. Get rid of everything on the page and replace it with this context. I'm also going to replace the photo at the top of the About page with my attached photo. Here's the photo of me and the logo. I will upload both of them. So that ran for about 2.5 minutes, but check this out. First off, I love the color scheme. This is looking much closer to the vibe I was going for. We still don't have our little mail icon up top right. Looks like it tried to put that logo in there, but struggled. It also did the same with the profile photo. We'll get back to this. We'll try deploying this and see if it looks better. He said, what is vibe coding? It's not about being a software engineer. That's not very nice. We'll probably go back and edit that. This looks good. We have the mail icon, which is clickable. And we have the YouTube icon. That's great. So build real software, no code required. Looks like they kept that. And tools, we didn't really ask it to do anything there. News still looks about the same. I wonder what actually happens if I click read article. Is there an actual article to read? No, it's an unusable link at this point. Glossary, no changes there. I never actually used the search feature. Let's see if this works. Token. There it is, the basic unit of text processing for an LLM. Roughly 0.75 words. Hamburger might be 2 or 3 tokens. Okay, that probably depends on the model, but not bad. Let's go to the About page. Looks like we're still struggling with this image up here. It looks like they got rid of the mission. Let's go ahead and deploy this and see if it resolves some of our issues. If you're doing this for the first time, now, if this is your first time creating this project, it's likely going to take you through a setup process in Google's Cloud Run. It is a free service to set up. That said, do be aware that when you set up your account and connect an API to it that uses their large language model, that there is a cost involved in running it. If you're just using Google AI Studio to vibe code your website, using their large language model to code your website does not cost anything. And I've only hit the limit of prompting once, and that was after about 3 hours of back and forth prompting. Once my website has been created, it's going to ask me to set up billing. I'm going to click this for the first time, and I'm going to link to my existing billing account, although you could manage and set up a new billing account. I'm going to go with my billing account. Now that we've set up our billing, let's go ahead and refresh. It's verifying the project, and let's go ahead and deploy this app. All right, we've got our URL, which Google AI Studio provides to us. If this is something that you're just using for yourself, you're not necessarily going to share it out with the rest of the world, you could save this URL. This URL will not change. So if you make changes to your website and then you redeploy, you will always use the web URL that they give you here. If you want to use your own URL, you will need to connect it with the domain service that you're using. And I can show you how to do that. For now, let's check out this link. And it looks like the website is working. As you can see, we are still having issues with the image. Within Google AI Studio, you can actually see a mobile version of your website. So this is obviously the desktop version. As you can see here, you can select the device preview. Right now, it's current screen size. You can also switch to mobile. And as you can see, this is a mobile-friendly website. We've got a menu here, which when clicked, has all of our pages. It is responsive based on the type of device that you're on. Let's see if these work. Explore tools. All of my links appear to work. You can also pull it up on a tablet. If you rotate to widescreen, this is what it would look like. Back to vertical. So it fixed our icon and let's put a different person in the photo. If you make a change and you realize, oh gosh, that change didn't work and I want to go back to a previous version, you can do that. Simply click restore on the previous version up here. And that should bring back what I had before. Pretty much 75% of the time, I notice when I try to chat with it, ask it a question and not to commit any further code changes, it just ignores me. It's built around mockups. It's built around doing things and making changes. The programmers of this tool have obviously built some parameters in place to fix the problem and try to make it better. rather than just chatting with you through it. We are going to sync this to GitHub and see if that resolves our issue. So that was going to be our next step, was we were going to deploy the website and then we were going to save it off to GitHub. We're going to proceed with that now. And my account is already synced to GitHub. If you're doing this for the first time, go ahead and sign up. It's completely free. Once you have your account, you go back to Google AI Studio and you should be able to log in and sync it. It's going to ask you to log in through GitHub, and we'll just give it the same description. And I'm going to create the GitHub repository. Now it's synced. We've got our full file structure that's going to be committed. I'm going to stage and commit all changes. What's really cool is it actually includes a message here. It uses AI to put in the changes that you're writing. So you can track changes over time in GitHub. You can edit this, of course, and put what you want, but I usually just keep whatever it gives me as defaults. Stage and commit all of our changes. Once your changes are committed, you will see this message, no changes to commit, which tells you that you're done. Head over to Netlify. If you don't already have an account, go ahead and get signed up. I will import an existing project in GitHub. Click GitHub, and it will search my repositories. So I'm going to click this first repository here, and we'll call it Atom Builds. This actually isn't a bad URL, atombuilds.netlify.apps. If you don't have your own URL and you're okay with having .netlify.app, you're welcome to create your own project name. I'm not going to add anything else at this time. I'll just go ahead and deploy at this point. I changed some of my language. I said, let's build the future together. Gave a quick little bio, what we're going to be doing with tools. This subscribe today looks great. Actually, this subscribe link wasn't doing anything. What I had it do is when I click it, it brings me right to the subscribe today, and then they can type in their email and join. It turns out this was pretty hard to do with the custom UI I have. It's difficult to use Kit's form and integrate it into my form, but guess what? It did it. And I went ahead and copied that code over to this newsletter form. I just replaced the entire code block. I saved it. I deployed it. I then went to the UI. I typed in my email. I hit submit. I got a confirmation email. I clicked the confirmation email. I went into my subscription dashboard, and guess what? There I am. So we are all synced up. I also changed my about page, which is having a problem with my photo, which we will fix shortly. There was some contact information at the bottom that didn't really quite make sense to me. So I included another form for them to fill out if they want to type in their email here, or if they click this, it's actually going to bring them right back to the home page. If they're anywhere and they click the subscribe button, it will bring them right back to that form. But it's very dynamic. Let me show you what it looks like once we deploy. When we commit our code to GitHub, it's going to kick off an auto deployment, which means that the moment we deploy to GitHub, it's going to update your Netlify website URL. You'll be able to just see your latest changes there. But I also like to deploy it so I can see my changes in the Google URL as well. This looks amazing. We've got our logo at the top left. My photo is now showing. As you can see, I removed the background. I didn't like what it was doing before. That looks great now. If I click the About page, it's also got me there again. Maybe a little bit too much of me, but that's what we've got for now. We've now built the UI, the front end. There's some back-end stuff we need to do. The next steps I'm going to take will be to connect it to Netlify and my private domain. I'm using Spaceship. That's just where I could find the cheapest price on a domain. And that's what I found there. I also did some research into the best email subscription pricing, and I found this website called kit.com. It's completely free, up to your first 10,000 subscribers. I'm going to actually sign up for a free trial. We're going to follow the prompt on the screens. Let's do atombuilds.kit.com. So it's trying to kick me right into paying a monthly or annual fee. I'm not going to click either of those. Instead, I'm going to click I'll do this later. From here, it says send your first email, add your email subscribers. Before you send your first email, you need to add in your list of email subscribers. You can import existing subscribers from another platform or grow your list from scratch with simple customizable landing pages and form templates. We will click start adding subscribers. And I'm really not sure how I'm going to integrate this. I'm in Chrome right now, so I'm going to use Gemini's feature. We're going to grow landing pages and forms, create a form. For this one, I'm going to choose one that is closest to what I have on my page here. And we'll just go with something basic here. This looks somewhat close to what I have. We'll choose this and we will save and publish. Now, what do I do to get the URL that I can simply copy and paste into a prompt to Vibe Code? It wants to do it for me. Let's go. You can see that it's actually grabbing the form from the HTML source, copying the code. Awesome. It gave me the URL I need. This is perfect. And it even embedded the URL. Let's go ahead and update this. Now, this isn't quite the prompt I was looking for because it wants me to create a custom email subscription form. So instead, I'm going to say, because it's already created, it's down here, subscribe today. What I'm going to say is in the subscribe today section at the bottom of the home page and about page, when the user submits the form, it should post to this URL. Ensure the input field for the email has the name equals email address. It probably has that, but just in case, I'm also going to tell it rename the button next to the email address from join free to submit. We're just going to keep it simple. And once the user submits, provide some sort of indication that they have submitted the form. The email field should no longer show unless they refresh the page. Send. Now, while that's doing its magic, we're going to come over here to Netlify. I'm actually going to ask Gemini again. Say, I want to use Netlify for deployment and get my domain, which I purchased from Spaceship, connected to Netlify. And then I also need to integrate the code within my Google AI Studio. It's taking control. Let's see what it does. You can see it has a mouse at the top that it's clicked. It's gone to domain management. It's adding my domain. Let's see if it knows what to do here. That would be amazing if it knew exactly which URL to type in. I suspect it's going to get stuck. Okay, I'm going to take over. Let's see if we can work together. So let's do atombuilds.io and then have it resume. I'm saying take action to find Netlify DNS name servers so I can take those and give them to Spaceship. I'm on Netlify and I'm going to let Gemini do the work for me. Here we go. Looks like it's already pending DNS verification. So here are the name servers. I'm going to head over to Spaceship and I'm going to continue this chat. And I'm going to say find, I'm going to say I have a domain with Spaceship and I want to add Netlify name servers. Take action to bring me to the page where I can enter them. I don't know why this keeps going back to fast, but we'll go to auto and submit. All right, it got me exactly where I needed. Let's go ahead and take over. We'll go back to Netlify. We will copy over each name server here. So Google AI Studio would be great if you could stay within the editor, make your changes, come back a few days later, see, oh, I want to make some more changes, all within the same editor. The problem people usually have is they make their code changes from Google AI Studio, and then they take the code from there into some other editor. We want to make this easy so we can continue to use Google AI Studio and their preview editor, as well as the fact that you can make multiple changes on the fly. So we were having issues with the images I was trying to upload, and I don't want to have to go to GitHub and then create a code space there and then re-upload all my images there. And now I'm locked out of Google AI Studio because every time I make a code change with Google AI Studio, it's going to rewrite the code to GitHub. We're going to fix that problem. First, go to your GitHub repository, pull up the project, and go over to the right panel where you will see releases. Yours will probably just be a link that says releases. I have one that I've already created. Click the releases link, create draft new release. From there, enter a title as to what you're doing. In this case, you could probably call it assets or images, and then proceed with uploading your images here. Once your images are uploaded, click publish release. Your release will publish those images indefinitely. And once those images are published, right-click this and click copy link address. Let's make sure that address actually works and it pulls up your image. In this case, it did. It downloaded my image, so I know it works. So now we're going to go back to Google AI Studio. Type the prompt that I no longer wish to store my images directly in the code editor. I now have them stored at an external URL. I need to update any code files that reference atom.png or logo.png. And instead, use the links below to pick up on those photos, which are now being stored at an external URL. So here's the link that I got directly from clicking copy link address. I'll do the same with this image, copy link address, and then I pasted that link directly in here. So now it's going to reference those links. And one thing that's really important, it will not pick up on your links if your code repository is not public. The way that you can quickly update that, go to Settings, scroll down to the bottom, click Change Visibility. Yours should say Change to Public. If you don't set it to public, it will not pick up on the images that you're uploading to that release. It doesn't matter which order you do it in. If you create the release and then make your repository public, that's totally fine. So I submitted this prompt, and right away, the preview of my images worked, which is great news. I also went to the code and I had a public folder and an assets folder, and I just got rid of those. Everything probably would have worked fine, but I just didn't want anything muddying up the code, so I deleted the files that were located in those folders. From there, I synced to GitHub. I checked my Netlify deployment, it published, I clicked the link, and everything is working beautifully. Let's check out the final product. We've got our logo working, our landing page. As you scroll down, you can see lazy loading. My picture is working. We've got the subscribe today section. The email link, which I confirmed is working, as well as the YouTube link, which goes directly to the YouTube page. If I go to the tools section, we've got its own page. If we go to the tools section, it's got categories that are all working. News section, glossary, about page, and everything is looking really sleek. Loving the website. And with that, we'll call it a wrap. Hey, you're still here. I'm going to introduce something that I wanted to start in my channel right off the bat. Saw another content creator do it, and I thought, that's me. That's who I am. Why wouldn't I start that right away? See, I'm a believer. I believe in Jesus Christ. He's my Lord and my Savior. Because I know that he loves me and he loves the world, why wouldn't I share that good news with you? But I also want to pray for you. I want to pray that you would see that AI is a tool that can be used for good, productivity, efficiency, and ultimately to bring God glory in what you do, whether it be work or play, having fun. I am going to pray for you now. So if that sounds a little bit awkward, I get it. And if it's not for you, that's okay. But if you're open to it, would you bow your heart with me in prayer? Father, I thank you so much for the tools you've given us. And I know that something like this, AI, can feel scary. It can be used for nefarious use, but it can also be used for good. And I pray that we would use these tools ultimately for your glory. And I pray and I thank you, Lord, for the person that's on the other side, listening to this prayer right now. I pray that you would bless them. I pray that you would open their eyes to see the good and the value and use of a tool like this. And I pray, Lord, that your love would enter into their heart, cause them to see the goodness that you've created, and help them. Help them, Lord. Give them strength. Give them peace. If they're dealing with anxiety right now, Lord, I pray that you would calm those fears and that you would open their hearts to the message that you've given to me. That is one of love, one of grace, one of mercy, and truth. Truth that can only be found in you. Thank you so much for everyone listening. In Jesus' name, amen. Thanks so much for your time today. Appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one.